Good morning, and happy Friday. We're at the very last session for our mini series on managing up. And today we're going to be focusing on navigating performance management as it pertains to that managing up perspective that we've been discussing for the past 5 weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed this mini series. It's been really fun. And I hope that you have found it informative and helpful in establishing a different kind of relationship in the workforce. So, if you don't know me or haven't met me before, I'm Dr. Myra Austin. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Management Cues. And Management Cues is unique. We are a training company for management and leaders, but the way we approach training is unique. We're scientifically tested and prove it to work which means that we can confirm and fully validate a return on investment for participants who are learning with us. And we really focus on the experiences that managers are having. I myself am very passionate about managers and what they go through. I've managed at all the levels from entry all the way to executive level. And so that is the steering inside that launched this company along with amazing team members who now make part of it. So with that said, let's talk about today. So today we're going to focus on the formula of performance management plus managing up and how that equates to next level type of leadership. We're going to talk about what performance management is made up of and what we should be looking for as we're thinking of performance management. And the reason I'm saying that is because I have experienced in the workforce and both with our clients that sometimes we see performance as getting things done. And performance management is something that's a slightly different and a little bit more involved, and it includes a lot of intentionality. And so us being intentional requires us to have a different mindset, which we will talk about. We'll talk about key performance management components and to ensure that we're actually performance managing, the connection between the two. And then we'll go through a scenario today, which I'm really excited to do and walk through with you guys in this short period of time of what it looks like when managing up is playing out as we're performance managing. So just a little taste of something a little bit more immersive today. And then we'll close out with the common mistakes that take place when we're managing up and we're acting as managers in that exchange. Okay, and then we'll close it out. All right, so here we go. Here's the formula. So performance management plus managing up does ultimately equal to next level type of leadership. So many people in the workforce think of performance management in terms of annual reviews, KPI tracking, right? These task-oriented things. Performance management is actually a little bit more than that. So real performance management happens daily in conversations, in the expectations we set, in the feedback loops we design, and the alignment that takes place within it. It's how we build our teams for success and how we complement or help other leaders build. So think about it within those parameters. And if that's not how you thought about it before, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Performance management is not just making sure things get done. Okay, here we go. So what is then performance management? So performance management is a continuous process guided by essential components that must be consistently met to drive results. So driving results is not just getting things done, right? Driving results is meeting an ultimate objective. And so that's kind of aligned with the higher organizational type of goal. So here are some key performance management components. Ongoing goal alignment. So that means regularly update individual and team goals to stay aligned with organizational objectives. It's continuously tying what we do every day, every interaction to these ultimate goals of what we're trying to achieve. Using SMART goals to create clear expectations and measurable outcomes. The SMART goals are just a tool to get there. It's not the overall outcome, right? Continuous feedback loops. It's moving beyond annual reviews. It's providing real-time feedback to reinforce strengths and course correct early. So course correct means you're providing a guide so people don't fall into a pattern of bad habits. You're providing a guide so people can reach their next career milestone. That's what that means, right? So it's more intentional, it's more long-term, it's sustainable. It's creating a feedback culture where communication flows both ways. So if your boss or you and a team member are not communicating in a two-way a two-way street, right, in that type of a way, then there's an opportunity there to performance manage better. It's clear expectations and setting accountability. So that's ensuring that roles and responsibilities and deliverables are clearly communicated, all three, right? So if those aren't outlined clearly, then there's an opportunity for more effective performance management. It's setting standards and holding consistent check-ins to track progress. So in terms of additional components, developing and coaching, it's investing in skill development through mentoring, coaching, and training. Notice that it's and not or, because you require a little bit of all of it for it to be effective. It's encouraging growth by identifying strengths and addressing areas for improvement. It's literally creating a guide, right? Creating a guide for people to move into whatever the next phase looks like. Recognition and motivation. That's celebrating wins, both big and small, and keeping the morale and momentum high. So if the morale is low and the momentum is low, there's an opportunity for more effective performance management. It's recognizing effort, not just outcomes, to build a culture of engagement. The way that you encourage development and growth in people is not just by celebrating only when they win or only when they get it done. That actually leaves a lot of opportunity on the table, and it actually lowers their morale because there's effort going into things even when they don't win. So data-driven decisions, it's using performance metrics to guide decisions, not just intuition. It's tracking KPIs that matter, analyzing the trends, and using insights to adjust strategies. So what that means is understand the story of what's happening, right? Not just those completion marks. Documented progress and follow through. So this is the reinforcement in performance management. It's keeping records of feedback, goal updates, and performance reviews. It's following up on action items and demonstrating commitment to growth. Now, these are things we should be doing with our team members, but these are also things we should be reconciling with our leaders, with our bosses, and making sure that if we're managing up and they don't know how to do these things, that we're providing direction through the relationship when we're managing up, so that we do create these healthy performance management patterns and expectations, because they lend to better outcomes. Okay, so here's a connection between managing up and performance management. So managing up enhances performance management effectiveness. So if you're managing up and you're providing your leader with a path to understanding performance or identifying performance gap, overall, you will be more effective. You must manage the bridge between strategy and execution. So performance management requires that balance, right? And so as we're managing up, it's showing your leader that you see the connection between what's getting done and what the ultimate goal is. And so that's critical, right? Because that shows a higher level of thinking. So tying managing up with performance management models accountability and clarity, and it happens down the chain. So it shows your leader that you're able to connect all of the dots, not just focus on tasks, right? There's a higher level strategic mindset there, as well as leadership. It's leading from the middle with influence, not authority. And that only happens when you activate managing up with performance management. So if you're able to do both and you learn to do them well, you make quite the impact, right? Because you're able to see the bigger picture and your role within it, right? Which means that people start to see it, which means you start to create more influence, which means you're making a higher impact. So, practical strategies for managing up versus performance management. So, breaking this down to make that distinction is important because that's where we see typically both in training and in my experience, I've seen here's where people don't know where to draw the line, right? So, when we're talking about performance management, that's using the SMART goals, that's scheduling the check ins, that's documenting outcomes and progress, that's tying the feedback to objectives. When you're looking at managing up and performance management, this is what it looks like. It's keeping your leader informed without being excessive. So it's knowing your leader well enough to know where is their cutoff point. And if you don't know what the cutoff point is for them, then you're not familiar enough with their communication style. Okay, so clarify expectations early and often. So your focus is clarifying and translating the performance story for them. Understanding your leader's pressures and priorities. So that means you understand what's important to them. So you focus on communicating that, right? And all that information comes from the performance management piece. It's offering solutions, not just problems. So when you know how the story plays out, because you're performance managing, then you have to get really good at communicating what it means to the business or maybe to your leader, right? Based on what's important to them, on what their focus is. And that's where the managing up relationship becomes extremely strategic and powerful. So clarifying the chaos, managing up and a performance management scenario. So we're going to walk through this scenario, and I was really excited to put this together because I haven't done it in a mini web series, but I wanted to give you a taste of what it looks like as it plays out, especially since this is our last session on this mini series. So make sure to tell me in chat if you like the mini series, so that I can think of some other ones to put out there. They're free, they're 30 minutes. So it allows us to learn valuable things in a short period of time and for us to get to know each other better. So here's the background of our scenario. Janelle is a mid-level manager at a logistics company. She leads a team of 5 and reports directly to the director of operations. The team has been struggling with meeting quarterly KPIs due to shifting priorities from senior leadership and is unclear about the direction on project ownership. So perfect everyday type of example. If we've managed, we've gone through something like this. So let's see where it takes us. So here's the performance management breakdown in this scenario. The problem is that team members are unsure of their individual goals and how they contribute to the department's larger objectives. So morale is low and performance is inconsistent. So here's the action that Janelle takes. She holds one-on-one meetings with each team member to revisit and clarify their roles and expectations. She sets specific measurable goals tied directly to department KPIs. She introduces biweekly check-ins to give real-time feedback, support, and recognition. She uses a shared tracker to monitor progress and create visibility around responsibilities. So this is her doing her performance management piece. Okay, now let's take it a step further. What is she doing in terms of managing up? So this is the challenge. Janelle realizes that the team's performance issues partly stem from unclear priorities handed down by her director, who is her boss, right? So after she did the performance management, she realized there's a lack of clarity in some of the areas around the project. So she knows her director is under pressure to deliver quick wins. So think about how this translates to environments you've been in or things that you've done that are similar. Here's her managing up approach. Instead of complaining, Janelle requests a strategic check-in with her director to clarify top priorities for the quarter. Brilliant. Okay, so here's where you go from task to strategy. Even the words that you use, right? Can I have a strategic check-in with you? That sets the stage for your leader versus saying, can I schedule a meeting with you? Right? That doesn't sound as intentional. It just doesn't. right? So it's us knowing what words to use and how to dial in. She presents data on how shifting directives have impacted the team's output and offers a proposed roadmap that aligns with executive goals. So she went and quantified the experience that her team was having before she presented the fact that it was an issue, which is brilliant because then it's non-negotiable. We have to fix it because there's evidence that this is where the problem lies, right? And where it's starting from. She confirms communication preferences, ensuring she's giving her director timely updates without overwhelming them. So again, just massively strategic and brilliant. She's confirming that the communication is what it needs to be in terms of how often she communicates or how she communicates, keeping in mind that her boss is under a lot of pressure to deliver quick wins, right? And so you have to make sure you're not just throwing up on people, right? For lack of a better term, that you're meeting their pace so that they are processing what you're giving them. Okay. So here's the outcome of this scenario. Okay. The director appreciates Janelle's initiative and transparency, granting her more clarity and autonomy in prioritizing. The team begins hitting targets steadily with improved morale, clear communication, and renewed purpose, right? So where there was an absence of direction, because Janelle was able to do the performance management piece and incorporate managing up, she was able to provide a higher degree of direction to her team, right? Which ultimately has a higher impact than if she would have just pushed through and focused on only getting it done, right? So Janelle becomes known as a manager who manages up well and drives performance through structure and trust. So there's a difference of just getting things done and building a relationship as you do it. There's also a difference of doing what you're supposed to do, getting things done, and allowing for others to be successful around you through managing up. Managing up facilitates that. And if we do it well, it becomes very, very natural to us. It's the absence of getting there that limits us. So here's the scenario takeaway. So the scenario takeaway is that performance management isn't just about evaluating others. It's about actively guiding people towards success. And managing up isn't about pleasing the boss. It's about creating clarity, alignment, and influence from where you stand. Meaning, it doesn't matter where you stand. It doesn't matter what level of management you're in or where you're at in your professional career. You could be a brand new person for the first time in the workforce in your first job. It doesn't matter. Managing up doesn't require authority. Managing up doesn't require a title. And so it's understanding relationship and what's happening in the workforce. Okay, so that was the scenario. Let me know in chat if you liked that scenario. I thought it was a really good one to kind of show you how it plays out in a real situation and where performance management meets managing up. So here are our 10 common managing up performance management mistakes. So here's where we go wrong and we don't create that meaningful matchup. Avoiding difficult conversations, failing to clarify expectations, overpromising and under-delivering, the lack of proactive updates, assuming your manager knows everything, not linking your work to strategic goals, overdependence on approval, ignoring power dynamics, failing to address conflicts professionally, and treating performance management as an event, not a process. So that last one is such a powerful one. And I experience it all the time when I go out into the workforce. People rely on that, once a year or once a quarter or whatever the cadence is for performance management to really dial in and quantify or evaluate. And what that does, it creates a disconnect because you're thinking of performance management as a one-time thing you do every year, when performance management is actually in every interaction, in every exchange, in every transaction, right? So it's a little bit of a different approach there. So we're going to close out our session today. This is the grand finale. So again, I hope that you've enjoyed our webinar series, and please send us an email, tell us in chat if you liked the webinar, the mini webinar series, and we will pick a new one to do maybe in a month or so, so that we can kick it off again. But here are our key takeaways for today. There is a connection between managing up and performance management. Performance management is a continuous process, not an event. And activating your performance management muscle while managing up helps you build workforce relationships. So it makes you be more strategic and more effective in terms of teaming up with colleagues, with bosses, you name it. If you're managing up, you're providing direction and making it easier for everybody around you to succeed. And that's the importance behind managing up. And in my opinion, we should be doing more training around managing up, as well as some other areas. But let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I'd love to hear your feedback. I do think that managing up is one of those things that doesn't get as much of attention as it should, and it makes a big difference for people. Okay, so I'll open it up for a few seconds of Q&A if there are any questions. And if not, then we will go ahead and close it out for today. All right, short and sweet, the grand finale. Okay, so as we've shared, we're a training company. We're unique. For joining our webinar today, you will get a copy of the recording and you'll get a copy of the webinar deck with all of our live links. We offer training programs of all shapes and sizes. We have incredible tools. So if you haven't checked it out lately, please check out our management tool shop on our website at www.managementcues.org, or you can find our tools on Instagram shop. So if you're not following us on our social channels, make sure that you do, because you're missing out on some fun stuff. And we are pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube as well. So make sure you're following along. If you like what you hear and what you get, our tools are super inexpensive, very practical, and are all based on live tested and proven results. So I'm giving you guys another 20% discount for this management onboarding journal that we just introduced this month. So it's a brand new product, and it's meant to be used for any new manager coming on board so that they could journal their management onboarding experience. It's proven by neuroscience that journaling creates a higher degree of retention, up to 70% more. When we're journaling as managers, our experience, we're more impactful. So take advantage of that code. And then last but certainly not least, we're so excited to be running our I Fund Women crowdfunding campaign. I Fund Women by Honeycomb Credit is backing us up as a company and supporting us as we scale our company to the next level. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. It's amazing how they support women entrepreneurs. We have a scientifically backed, proven program. So we're excited to take our company to the next stage of growth. So with that said, thank you so much for joining. I hope you really enjoyed this mini webinar series. Please shoot me an email or send me a message. Let me know how you felt about it. And I hope you had some excellent managing up takeaways. Have a great weekend.